Hello clannies, and welcome to the April full moon and Looks Far Woman. Today we are looking through the 13 original clan mothers by Jamie Sams, and I'll read the chapter. Looks Far Woman. Mother, teach me how to see the shining lights of stars, the faces of the ancestors in worlds both near and far. Show me how to welcome the visions appearing to me, seeing the truth in detail, unraveling each mystery. Walk me through the dream time of altered time and space, that I may share those visions with every creed and race. Doorkeeper of all dimensions, I seek your medicine ways of how to earth my visions, seeing truth inside me today. Looks Far Woman is the clan mother who is the guardian of the fourth moon cycle, which falls in April. The full spectrum of pastels is connected to this clan mother cycle because she carries the medicine of prophecy, seeing the truth in all the colors. She is the doorkeeper of the crack in the universe and the golden door of illumination that leads to all other dimensions of awareness. She stands at the crack in the universe and safely guides all human spirits, taking dreamtime journeys into the other realms and then back home, being present and fully conscious of their bodies. This clan mother is a seer, an oracle, a dreamer, and a visionary. She teaches us the validity of our impressions, dreams, visions, and feelings as they exist within our inner potential. Looks Far Woman instructs humankind on how to unravel the symbols found in psychic impressions. She shows us how to see the truth in every vision we receive in the tangible and intangible worlds. In her wisdom, Looks Far Woman assists every seeker in finding the seeds of personal and planetary prophecy, that the great mystery planted inside all human beings. She knows that all two-leggeds can access the ability to see the truth in all dimensions if they seek the light of the eternal flame of love, and if they are willing to receive the visions that come when their heart is open. Looks Far Woman understands that all possibilities and probabilities exist in the future. She teaches us that tangible events are only manifested through each individual's freely made decisions. Every human being has the ability to use the information found in the sleep-time dreams and/or daytime waking visions to change the course of his or her personal experiences. Looks Far Woman sees all potential truths, as well as how an individual will ignore or take heed when omens or portents appear. Looks Far Woman is willing to teach humankind how to see those truths by using their own abilities, but she will not give them pat answers on what the future holds for any individual. Looks Far Woman shows us how to observe everything around us and how to remember every detail. This clan mother enjoys teaching us how to recall anything we have seen in order to reconstruct useful information. Looks Far Woman instructs us how to distinguish between the tangible and intangible parts of what we see when we have developed second sight, or the ability to see in both worlds at once. When we fine-tune this talent of second sight, she teaches us how to know which vision is true prophecy and which vision is just probability. In the final development of this clan mother's lessons, human beings are able to fully understand any signs, portents, omens, or symbols presented to their awareness. Looks Far Woman presents the lessons of respecting boundaries by showing us that it is not okay to look into other person's sacred space unless we are asked by that individual to do so. She shows us the pitfalls of looking too far too soon by reminding us that we can destroy the beauty of the moment. When we forget our ability to use free will by forecasting what a future outcome will be, we can trap ourselves into projections, expectations, and a loss of potential opportunities. The lessons we refuse to experience will usually catch up with us later in another form. Looks Far Woman shows us how to observe each opportunity, knowing when to follow the path and when to choose another road. Our personal clarity depends upon our ability to observe the obvious, allowing us to then make personal choices in order to alter our sacred paths and grow. This clan mother tells us how to see the truth in all of life's situations. Doorkeeper of the crack in the universe. This is the story of Looks Far Woman when she was having her earth walk. So while she was learning the lesson she needed to learn, to then go to the spirit realm and guide the sisters from the starry medicine ball. So this is when she was a two-legged. Lux-Fa sat in the darkness of the cave, gazing into the inky water of her blackened medicine bowl. The firelight flickered, sending waves of light across the water's surface. She felt herself being drawn into her own reflection, as her eyes mirrored bottomless wells, and the water seemed to part, revealing another level of unfathomable space. Stars appeared in the indigo vastness that emerged from the silent water, allowing her to send her spirit traveling into the universe that was appearing before her eyes. She sailed inside her Arinda, cloaked in the spiritual essence, moving into the world within worlds, being opened for her to view. The passing of planets, stars, comets, swirling energy, and other heavenly bodies made her feel at one with creation. She could see the movement of the great mystery's breath as new worlds were exhaled into the void of deep space. She traveled on, taking in every marvel of the starry medicine bowl of the night sky. She passed millions of campfires, nestled together, forming an arch across the sky nation. She watched the spirit forms of the ancestors holding council around the campfires of stars. She watched as they saluted her passing by, raising their hands in greeting. Some spirit warriors rode with her on their ghostly white horses as far as the next camp. Others followed, running on the winds. Lux-Fa woman absorbed every new vista that crossed her line of vision. The light of 1,000 suns lit the surfaces of passing planets. Radiant colors and hues bounced back from the planetary bodies, creating a feast for her eyes. In the far distance, the clan mother could see what appeared to be a lightning storm. Fire sticks crashed upon one another, battling in the mulberry-colored void, drawing her ever closer to the erratic, silent explosion of zigzag dancing forms. In the middle of the circle of fire dancers, she saw an emerging vision, the appearance of a crack, motionless amid the dancing lightning bolts, brought her focus to the center of the raw creative forces, displaying their dance before her. She heard the voice of the Earth Mother. Lux-Fa woman, you are seeing the sacred fire of creation. Trust, follow the flow, see and know. The crack in the universe holds the golden door of illumination that leads to all other levels of awareness. You have traveled into the vastness of the worlds within your own spiritual essence, your Arinda. The worlds within worlds that comprise the sacred space of your own being are awaiting your discovery. You will be the keeper of the door that leads through the crack in the universe of opposites. Through exploring the Arinda, each member of the human tribe will discover and reclaim their ability to see the truth of oneness. The voice faded and Lux-Fa woman journeyed further into the crackling, explosive dance of the sacred fire before her. She felt no burns as her spirit form moved through the fiery lights, reaching the timeless abyss inside the crack in the universe. The emerging form of the golden door reflected its blinding golden light, sending rays of light through her spirit form, lighting the darkness of the deepest part of the crack's inner chasm. She waited as the golden door moved forward, coming to rest in front of her. The voice of the Earth Mother gently spoke to her heart. Daughter of my spirit, here you will stand for all time, showing others how to see the truth within themselves and within all things. To grow beyond human limitation, all children of Earth must face their limitations and hesitations. They will come to see you and see the truth within themselves through your limitless eyes. If they are willing to give away their illusions, they will pass through the golden door into the next level of understanding. If they fear their own potential, they will return to the place within themselves that gives them comfort until they are ready to grow. The art of seeing the total truth of the vastness of the Arinda and seeing the truth of all the worlds that exist within the creative force of that spiritual essence can be overwhelming. Many cycles of the wheel of life are required before the level of seeing the truth is attained. Many will come, many will turn back, many will falter and then move through the golden door. But you must hold the door open for all who have the courage to see. Luke's Far woman understood the words spoken by the Earth Mother and cherished the role she was given. The blinding light of total truth illuminated every part of her spiritual essence as she moved through the golden door, seeing all the potential in creation, allowing it to be indelibly written in her heart. When the Clown Mother returned her consciousness to her body, the timelessness of her journey ended. Hundreds of moon cycles passed during Luke's Far woman's final rite of passage, discovering the truth inside the worlds within worlds. The water in her medicine bowl had evaporated. The ashes of her fire had returned to the earth of the cave's floor. The dripping of lime water had grown new rock formations, but her ever-young body was the same. She had returned from the crack in the universe, ready to serve her human children by teaching them how to see the truth. Luke's Far woman realized that her ability to see the truth would need to be honed into tiny glimpses to match the capacities of her individual human children. She was grateful that she had learned how to see the truth through the eyes of others. This talent of seeing through another's eyes gave her the ability to duplicate each individual's level of seeing truth without overwhelming her or him. She had learned how to show her human children the illusions presented in their path, gently leading them through every cycle of growth and change. Luke's Far woman understood the value of never missing a step on the great medicine wheel of life. Some would try to move too fast and burn up their human bodies. Others would allow fear to keep them from their natural progress. But Luke's Far saw the truth in compassion and was willing to nurture every two-legged through the process of spiritual evolution. The great mystery was not to be solved, and that same mystery existed in every part of creation, allowing the beauty of each life form to manifest in its own time. Luke's Far woman intended to help others observe the obvious lessons found in the natural world and apply those truths to themselves. The creatures could show the two-leggeds how to use their physical bodies and personality traits to survive and earn longevity. Then it would be possible to show the two-leggeds how to master the life force in those bodies by showing them the truth of discovering the creative forces of natural elements that made up their human forms. Through seeing these truths, humankind could then grasp the expansive picture presented by their spirits. They would come to understand that all things, including themselves, contain living spiritual forms. After the lessons of life force were learned, the human tribe could learn to enter the stillness in order to discover the secrets of the spirit and the potential found in exploring the non-tangible worlds. Every lesson of the realms of spirit could be accessed through nature. The spirits of every life form in the natural world were ready and willing to become teachers for the two-leggeds who sought their guidance. The worlds of truth represented in every cycle of relations would lead to new medicine wheels of experience in the worlds within worlds. Luke's Far woman could see the patterns of spiritual evolution as they spiraled out before her, creating the probable future of the human tribe. It made her heart glad to feel how her role in the Earth tribe's evolution could assist the growth potential of her human children and all life forms. Seeing the truth was an ever-evolving talent that brought further understanding of the great mystery and how all things were constantly growing and changing inside the original source. Luke's Far woman passed many winters rediscovering the miracles of life on the mother planet. She showed her human children how to observe the changes in the weather, how to divine through the natural elements, how to read the faces of the cloud people, and how to understand the messages that were presented in their lives. She taught her human children how to read the gifts of life force found in every part of nature as signposts to guide them on individual sacred paths. Learning how to see was not an easy task for some humans. These stubborn two-leggeds insisted that if they could not see the whole truth in a glance, the truth was not there. Luke's Far woman was not concerned that some humans were willing to look and others were not. Fear of the unknown troubled the human tribe because they had not developed the ability of seeing the truth in all lessons. deep compassion, Looks Far woman nurtured the fearful and gently guided them through a multitude of healing steps that allowed them to release their fears by only looking as far as they were ready to see. One son, while Looks Far woman was spending some time in solitude, a young boy came stumbling up the rugged path that led from the hot springs to her cave. Carrying his sister's bruised, limp body in his weary arms, he explained that his sister had been raped, beaten, and left to die by traveling hunters. He laid the girl's body at Looks Far woman's feet. He wanted to know if his little sister would ever return from eternal land. Her unseeing eyes were wide open, and the grimace of terror still locked her jaws, but as if she had been frozen in time. The girl had passed 14 winters, so she was 14 years old, but it was doubtful she would last another sun. She had not spoken, eaten, taken a drink, or moved since he found her. He had traveled for 3 suns and sleeps, bringing the girl to Looks Far woman, who was his last hope. Looks Far woman hid her feelings as she examined the girl. The clan mother looked past her own feelings of anger and heartbreak to see if the girl's spirit had been broken forever. The light of the eternal flame was weak inside the child's Orinda, but it flickered and spluttered each time the boy spoke to her. Looks Far woman worked to keep the girl, who was named Starfire, from losing touch with life. She was afraid that Starfire's spirit would slip through the crack in the universe, and she would forget who she was, wandering into the eternal land without a hope of ever returning. Starfire's brother, Little Eagle, followed the clan mother instructions. He gathered the cupped lava rocks that served as lamps, filled each with dried grasses dipped in metal pine sap, and then placed the bowls around the edge of the hot springs that bubbled at the rear of the caves that Looks Far woman called her home. Little Eagle worked quickly, starting a fire and lighting the lamps. Together they lifted Starfire into the water, supporting her so that it would float, supporting her body so it would float in their arms. Looks Far woman sang to Starfire's spirit, the girl's body being relieved of any stress while it floated in the warm mineral waters that simulated the safety of the womb. Although Looks Far woman was present and aware of what she was singing, the child in her arms and the presence of Little Eagle, she was also aware of the part of herself that was standing at the crack of the universe, making sure that Starfire's spirit did not wander away. At times like this one, the seer was grateful that she could easily master seeing the many levels of awareness in the tangible and intangible world simultaneously. Many moons passed while Little Eagle and Looks Far woman worked with Starfire, slowly bringing the girl's spirit back from the edge of eternal land. The clan mother insisted that Little Eagle stay by his sister's side during the healing process because his voice offered Starfire a way to grasp something familiar, giving her a pathway through the void that was created by the violation. The brutality of Starfire's trauma had shattered her sense of being, tearing a hole in her sacred space, allowing fragments of her spirit to explode, abandoning the girl's senses inside the vastness of the void. The darkness without her spiritual essence intact. Starfire's connections to the tangible world, her recovering body and broken mind were minimal. Looks Far woman traveled into the void regularly, collecting shattered fragments of Starfire's spirit. Every sun and sleep, the oracle guided the shards of the spirit back into the girl's Orinda. Looks Far woman placed a medicine wheel of stone people and medicine bundles around Starfire's body to contain the portions of the child's spirit in a constructed sacred space until enough of the girl's essence was collected to bring her back from the void. Little Eagle and Looks Far woman waited and watched, spoke and sang to Starfire. Then they returned thanks, sending love to the great mystery every time a tiny bit of progress was made. The sun finally dawned when Starfire's eyes lost their glazed stare and flickered with recognition when her big brother greeted her. She had been eating and drinking for some time, but had had no awareness of herself and those who attended to her needs. Looks Far woman realized that the healing process would continue for many moons. But the crisis of losing Starfire's spirit was now over. Slowly, Starfire began to trust Look's Firewoman as the clan mother took the girl through a multitude of small healing steps on the path back to wholeness. Through learning to take care of her personal hygiene, feeding herself, talking about her feelings, walking in nature, and learning to feel safe, Starfire firmly rooted herself in the tangible world of family life. Laughter would come to the girl's lips when she shared in Little Eagle's antics, making fun of the standoff he had seen in the glen between the bear and the honeybee. The passage of moons had worked its medicine, allowing Starfire to share in the happy routine of Look's Firewoman's life. Little Eagle and Starfire, having lost their parents, stayed with Look's Firewoman for many seasons. From time to time, other humans would seek the clan mother's wisdom, traveling far distances to see what Look's Firewoman had to say. The day came when it was time for Little Eagle to move on, having found a mate among a band of visiting two-leggeds. Starfire was saddened by Little Eagle's departure, but she had adopted Look's Fire as her mother, feeling that the caves and springs were now her home. Little Eagle and his mate promised they would return to visit the two women who were part of their kin. Starfire, having no desire to leave with a mate or have children, had decided to train with Look's Firewoman in order to develop her abilities as a seer and a dreamer. Upon Little Eagle's return, Starfire began her training in earnest. Upon Little Eagle's departure, Starfire began her training in earnest. Look's Firewoman tested her adopted daughter when they went on medicine walks, telling the girl to shut her eyes from time to time and to describe in detail everything she had seen during the preceding moments. When visitors came to the two women's fire, Starfire would be tested on the observations she had made during the visitor's stay. Through seeing these obvious truths in the tangible world and being able to recount every detail, Starfire honed her ability to see. After completing these lessons, the clan mother began instructing Starfire in how to use the blackened medicine bowl filled with water, gaze into the inky pool to see beyond the tangible. Look's Firewoman understood the keen abilities that Starfire possessed. Every two-legged who had survived the shattering of the luminous egg that held their sacred points of view could access other realms because fragments of their spirits had journeyed into the void of creation. The process of becoming a seer or a dreamer would test Starfire's strength to confront and to go through the memories of trauma that would be encountered in the visions that appeared. This part of any abused human's healing process was a delicate one that could be very frightening, but Starfire was strong now. Many moons passed as the young woman challenged the nightmares of the past, moving beyond the shadowy remnants of her former pain, clearing the feelings that could inhibit her ability to see clearly. Look's Fire was proud of her adopted daughter's progress. The girl had passed 20 winters and was becoming a talented seer. Often, when visitors would arrive asking for help in finding a lost child or for some clue to a mysterious illness, Look's Firewoman would instruct Starfire to look for answers. The girl's clarity was a rare gift and reflected the caring Look's Firewoman had taken in training the young seer. From time to time, Look's Firewoman would recall the early lessons that had led her to become the doorkeeper of the crack of the universe. The Earth Mother had taught Look's Firewoman to read the faces of the cloud people and see the source of an illness buried deep in a patient's body or mind. As a young dreamer, she had learned to travel on the wings of Dragonfly, using Dragonfly's medicine, breaking through the illusions of the tangible world to retrieve information. When Look's Firewoman had learned to use the blackened medicine bowl, she had called upon Swan's medicine to surrender to the flow of the dream time, entering the parallel worlds of reality. I love this. Lizard's medicine of dreaming solutions and visioning taught her the way to access the expansive dream of worlds within worlds. She called upon Mole's medicine of seeing in the dark and being able to travel under the earth, when she was looking for items that may have been buried. When Look's Fire Woman felt the presence of evil, she called on the medicine of Flicker the woodpecker. Flicker carried the strongest protection against the shadow and evil. The young oracle would allow her spirit to ride the back of Panther when she sought the truth of future events, because Panther carried the medicine of leaping fearlessly into the void of the unknown. Panther's yellow eyes saw with clarity, being the color of Grandfather's sun. Even in the nothingness of empty space, these spirit totems were Look's Fire Woman's teachers and allies in the natural world, assisting her in her continuing quest to see the truth in all realms. With Eagle's help, Starfire had retrieved the passion and illuminated her ability to see. Eagle's lofty ideals allowed the girl to know that she carried the ability to reclaim the wholeness she had once felt before her violation. Each time Starfire brought a part of herself home to her sacred space, Eagle gifted her with a new spiritual clarity, bringing her to the place where Look's Fire Woman could finally take her through the crack in the universe safely. Look's Fire Woman entered the cave when the fading light of Grandfather's sun was painting the outside world in brilliant hues of vermilion. She looked at Starfire tending a small twig fire and broke the silence. "Daughter, the time has come for you to travel beyond the realms you have journeyed through. Go and purify yourself in the bubbling water of the hot spring, then meet me in the cavern where we use the medicine bowl to seek vision." Starfire nodded, then unhurriedly made her way out of the cave. Having total trust in her teacher and adopted mother, had instilled a sense of safety in the girl. Look's Fire Woman marveled at the young dreamer's balanced attitude and acceptance. Starfire had maintained her relationship to the Earth Mother and tangible reality, as well as her understanding of the intangible, by using Dolphin's medicine, how to use the breath in order to tap the available energy life force, or mana. Like Look's Fire Woman, the young oracle could journey beyond the physical realms and upon returning, properly use the breath to bring her body functions into balance again. While Starfire prepared herself for the journey, Look's Fire Woman sat with her memories. The clan mother recalled every step on her own path that had honed the skills she now possessed. She reviewed the hours she had spent learning to focus her mind on one location so that she could propel her spirit to that place within the dream time. She looked at the lessons she had mastered by stilling her thoughts and following glimpses of vision until they revealed whole pictures of truth. She remembered her frustrations and her triumphs along the arduous path of becoming a seer until she felt complete within her being. She would achieve a wholeness of her own doing through Starfire's passage. Look's Fire Woman recalled the Earth Mother's words of encouragement when she had learned how to master the gifts she had been given. The Earth Mother had blessed Look's Fire Woman by passing her this medicine of seeing the truth. Now Look's Fire Woman was responsible for giving those same skills to all of the human tribe. If Starfire was successful and made it through the crack in the universe, Look's Fire Woman's final rite of passage would be complete. The clan mother would know that she had impeccably trained another woman who would then be responsible for passing the medicine to others. The caring patience and tender guidance Look's Fire Woman had shown in helping Starfire develop her gifts would bring luster to the whole human tribe. Starfire's success would signal that Look's Fire Woman's circle of experience was complete, and that seer and dreamer medicine would be available to humankind throughout time. Look's Fire Woman was ready to face the future, having reviewed the past and released it in order to see the truth of the here and now. She stood up and walked with silent determination to the place in the giant cavern where the next turn in the sacred path would be revealed. The two women sat in the vision cavern, peering into the blackened medicine bowl. The surface of the water was lit by the flames of their twig fire. Starfire would be journeying alone, but Look's Fire Woman would observe the girl's effort by using her talents as a seer. Starfire melded her consciousness with the water and fire seen in the medicine bowl by focusing without blinking. Gently, she surrendered her mind to the flow of the life forces of the elements of fire and water, using the fire to burn away her random thoughts and the water to cleanse her total being of the need to control the journey. She continued by bringing the Earth Mother's magneticism from the soil beneath her into her body's center of gravity, her womb. With the breath, she brought in the element of air into her lungs and used the life mana to stabilize her bodily functions. Finally, she opened her heart and gave over, surrendering to the love of the great mystery. The connection was now complete, combining the clan chiefs of air, earth, water, and fire with the raw creative potential of the great mystery, melding these natural forces with divine love inside her Arinda. Through limitless space, Starfire traveled on a beam of love, beholding the dreamscapes of earlier journeys as she crossed to the vast expanse of the void. Much time had passed as she sailed through the dreamtime, finally reaching unfamiliar territory. The bow of beauty stood before her, glittering in the light of stars. The golden bow was inlaid with pearls representing pearls of wisdom, and with rubies glistening in the reflected golden light. The bow of beauty spoke to Starfire. Child of Luxfar woman, the arrow of your spirit form can be mounted upon my bowstring and shot into the void if you possess the faith reflected in the red of these precious stones inlaid in the arc of my bow. Like yourself, through living with the grit of human life, the oyster produces the pearls of wisdom that have brought you this far on your healing path. Are you ready to travel further? Starfire agreed, and her spirit form was shot by the bow of beauty into the void of the unknown. Blazing colors flew past her, blurring the dreamscape. As she traveled far and fast into the new realms of the dreamtime, when her vision cleared, she saw the erratic dance of lightning bolts far in the distance. The silent storm of raw creative force drew her forever forward, drifting easily, seemingly being pulled by her own fascination. Suddenly, as she drew very close to the fire stick beings crackling silently before her, she spied an apricot light that reminded her of the rising of Grandfather's sun. The radiant apricot color lightened into shades of buttercup and sunflower yellows, revealing a large chasm as space seemingly split in the center of the burnished golden orb. A figure appeared in front of the enormous crack in space, faintly outlined in purest gold. As the figure took on more substance, Starfire was drawn closer until she could see the face of the spirit form. The welcoming arms of Luxfar woman encircled the girl's spirit form as she felt all the love in the universe course through her being. Together they watched the golden door of illumination appear, rising from the crack in the universe. Luxfar woman stood aside and questioned her daughter with eyes filled with compassion. A blinding light appeared inside Starfire's spirit form in the place where her heart resided in her human body. The eternal flame of love blazed with a passion for living inside the girl's dreaming body, signaling that she had forgiven those who had wounded her and had seen the truth of how that pain had served her by opening her to the gifts she now held. She had become a healed healer who had passed through the dark night of the soul to reclaim that love. Her connection to the Creator and to all life was complete. Starfire nodded to her mother and allowed the light of love beaming from her heart to draw her through the crack in the universe. The visions that every human encounters on the other side of the golden door through the crack in the universe are the reflections of the joy that exists beyond the illusions of physical sorrows. In that other world, we are shown how to use the energy that we once used to heal ourselves to experience the joy of human life. The worlds within worlds are open to every two-legged, who chooses to travel beyond the pain that limits our ability to see the truth. Looks Far woman will always stand at the crack in the universe, holding the golden door of illumination open for those who have the ears to hear, the eyes to see, and the hearts to understand.